Hi everyone, welcome back to the Careers Portal. Youth Capital is launching a new survey to quantify the shortcomings of the National Student Financial Aid Scheme and to find out what the true cost of these national challenges are for students. Youth Capital says the challenges at NSFAS is costing young people not only their mental health but also their future. Today we'll be sitting down with Kristal Duncan-Williams, who is a project lead at Youth Capital.
Thank you for agreeing to sit down with us just to speak about the latest campaign that Youth Capital has. Would you like to tell us more about the campaign, maybe?
Sure. So Youth Capital is an advocacy campaign, and we've looked at a number of issues over the last 6 years. But something that's consistently been raised by our community of young people is just the issues around NSFAS, around even once you get it, we know, we've seen the photos in the news, we've heard the horrific stories of young people sleeping in libraries or, not being able to feed themselves. And we thought that it was really time, given that the board was dissolved in April, and there hasn't been a board to date, it's felt like a prime time to ask young people, and even people who aren't young anymore, maybe did apply for NSFAS, even if it was years ago. What was your experience? What worked well, and what would you like to change?
Yeah. That's very interesting point you raise, and especially now with applications, with 2025 applications opening and everything, they need to know what they're doing basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, what specific issues with the current national system is your organization aiming to address?
So most importantly is the resolution of a new board. Now we know that there was a call put out for anybody really can nominate somebody onto the NSFAS board, and so I encourage young people. You need to have a master's degree, so that it doesn't mean that everybody can apply, but there's many young people who have master's degrees who have the experience. So it'd be really great to have on the board. And so firstly, we encourage young people to apply for that. And so that's the first thing we want to see. We want to see a board appointed that can be objective, that's qualified to do the job of steering the organization in the right direction. And then once the board's appointed, obviously we know the many issues, the administrative issues. Ever since fees must fall, the number of students that NSFAS is supporting is growing tremendously. And the system hasn't really been designed to keep up with that. So, what can we do? I know that offices were decentralized, then they were centralized again. Does this work for young people? Does this work for universities? Does this work for NSFAS? There's all these different stakeholders. So I think first get a board in place, and then secondly, looking at these very practical, operational, and administrative issues that need to be addressed.
Yeah. And it's like you said, anyone, well, not anyone, but anyone can apply. So getting some young people in there who have that youth perspective and actually can sort of empathize with students more closely will be really good. So hopefully that works out. So what are the key factors that you believe are stopping progress from happening when it comes to improving the national system?
I think one, as with all things related to youth employment, a lack of understanding of what it means to be young and the struggles that young people face. So I think really engaging with young people, because I think often NSFAS is engaging with universities, and so that's not to say they always listen to them, but at least that voice is in the room. And I think young people's voices and experiences, as with many things, is not present enough to kind of say to NSFAS, practically, I can't travel up and down to an office that's far away, right? So because it costs me money and I don't have money because NSFAS hasn't given me money, or understanding that young people don't know necessarily how to budget their money. So we see young people spending the money. We see these videos, we hear the count of these young people are reckless with the money. But if you're young and you come from an impoverished background and you've never had money to spend, how would you know how to spend? Budgeting is a skill that's taught and then learned. And so I think NSFAS as well as universities can do more to support students to manage them funds when they do get them. And then obviously just getting the funding on time. Now I know depending on what you study, you might get the course fees and then there's accommodation fees, but we are hearing of countless stories in the news where people who own accommodations are saying they haven't been paid for months and they're going to have to kick their students out. And that's just unacceptable. I understand that the landlord obviously has bills to pay and they can't, keep letting the person live there rent free for months, but they also feel for the student. And so just all these knock-on effects to think, how do the act as the NSFAS and a national level, the universities students who need the money desperately. How do all of these actors come together in a way that's a bit more efficient, and that saves everybody a lot of stress?
Yeah. And it's like the landlord thing is very scary because a lot of students are not studying in the province that their family lives in, so where do they go? And at the beginning of the year, we always see thousands of students are just looking for a place to stay because the NSFAS money didn't come through yet. So that's very scary. And hopefully, I mean, NSFAS is doing their student accommodation roadshows now, so hopefully that helps. But I guess it's always a thing of we'll see how far this goes because we can talk, but actions are way the difficult part of everything. So we'll
Exactly.
see.
Exactly. And then on top of that, there's all the corruption issues. So I think the news and the media have been focusing a lot on the corruption, which is why we think the appointment of a new board with having a new minister is really critical. But then for NSFAS to clean up house internally, the average is that in the last 5 years, it's been 21 billion mismanagement of funds every year, which if you think about how many students you could have funded with that, I encourage people to go and check out our TikTok where we talk about the rabbit situation where the former Minister of Department of Higher Education and Training, spent billions on rabbits, and how many students could have been funded with that money. It's just, it's unacceptable. And hopefully the new board and the new minister can do something about that.
21 billion, my mind can't even fathom how much money that is. I mean, you hear on the other end, and they're like these budget shortfalls and stuff.
Exactly.
These billions just being spent on.
Yeah.
So what is Youth Capital wanting to achieve with this latest campaign?
So, as with many of our campaigns, it's really about getting the experiences from young people. As I said, I really think that we hear kind of anecdotally through the media, through social media, about young people's experiences, but Youth Capital, as always, would want to quantify that. So we're really hoping that thousands and thousands of young people go and take the survey. It is a bit longer than our usual surveys, but that's because NSFAS is so complicated and there's so many different kinds of issues, and we really want to try to capture all of them, whether it's about applications, appealing, or actually just getting your money. And so I would encourage young people to go to our website and put the link in the caption of this video, to go and do the survey and to share it with all your friends. You don't have to be a current NSFAS recipient. Even if you tried for NSFAS and you didn't get it, anybody that's ever tried to apply can complete the survey, and it's going to run all the way through till January. And because we really, really would love to get, as I say, thousands and thousands of young people telling us their stories around NSFAS.
Yeah, it's very important, and it's the perfect time now. It's the perfect time towards the end of the year. We're still seeing people waiting for 2024 appeal, to hear about the 2024 appeals, people waiting to hear if they got a national term. So it's going to be interesting the responses you get in the survey. And so with the new NSFAS board coming, what would you want NSFAS to consider when selecting members?
I think, as I said before, younger people, right? We see this in government all the time. I experience it when, engaging with both national and provincial governments, that many decision makers are far from young and are disconnected about what it means to be young in 2024. So I think younger members, people who can be objective, who don't put political alliances first, but put the benefits of students ahead of everything else. And I understand that they're there to serve, that, serving on the board is exactly that. It's serving, it's a service. It's not there to kind of line your pockets, but to really make the system better for young people. And so I think a range of expertise across, qualifications will be good, because you don't want only people who studied finance, or people who just studied education. You want people with a range of expertise, because then you can come up with innovative solutions. So I think for us, that would be top of mind with who we'd like to see on the new board.
Yeah, better. So how can youth help with the survey? Just one last time, where can they go? What do they do? What is the process like?
Sure. So, follow us on all socials, Youth Capital SA. Share the survey links on your socials. Put it, as your status on WhatsApp. We found that's quite effective with getting people to complete surveys. and share it with your friends and complete it yourself. It's a very, easy, user-friendly interface. As I said, it takes about 8 to 10 minutes to complete the full survey, which is a little bit long in terms of social media time. So I understand that, but I ask everybody to be patient and please just complete the full survey so we can get your full experience, and share it as widely as you can. And also please share our reels on Instagram or like the videos on TikTok so that we can try to spread the word and the experience and get people to really understand the scale of mismanagement, the scale of corruption, the scale of impact when the system doesn't work well, and so that we can all get behind advocating to hopefully a new board by the time our results are released in early next year.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, thank you. That's all the questions that I had.
Great.
Yeah, basically, I think you gave a good summary of why this is important. And this is like when I saw it, I was like, this is really good work. We need to hop on this. We need to get it out there. We need to get people's voices heard. Because it's a very, 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 very serious issue in South Africa. And I mean, the youth are the future, so we need to
Absolutely
do things right. Yeah.
Yes. So again, follow us on Youth Capital SA. If you go to any of our social media handles or to the website, it is youthcapital.co.za. There's also a WhatsApp line where you can engage with the team there and get information about youth unemployment more broadly, not just NSFAS, but also through engaging with the WhatsApp line. You'll also get the link to the survey. So please share, please complete it, and let's hope that together we can put pressure on NSFAS to be better next year than it's been this year, and hopefully even better the year after.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us and for always coming on our platform. Thank you
so much, Sakana. Thank you for always inviting us.
No problem. Okay.
Thanks for watching our conversation with Kristal. This is a very important campaign with NSFAS funding over 1 million students every year. So be sure to help make a change and have your voice be heard by adding to the survey. Comment down below what your experience with NSFAS is, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.